Welcome back to another episode of Omni Garage. So here today we have a brand new product by Armour Detail Supply. It is called Clean. And so this is basically a citrus cleaner. It's going to be safe on the interior, it's going to be safe on the exterior. There's a whole heap of different dilutions that you can use to make sure it's safe on either surface that you're using it on. And so today we're going to jump straight in. We're going to clean this absolutely filthy car behind us. We're going to show you this new product in action and see how well it is removing some dirt and some real nasty stuff from the vehicle.
This is a really versatile product. We can use it in a whole range of different areas of the vehicle. So we're going to start out by using it on the wheels here. As you can see on this Tesla Model 3, they are extremely dirty. We've got a lot of caked on mud in the wheel wells there as well. And then one of the areas that I'm quite keen to test this out here as well is on the bug buildup at the front of the car. So you've got all of the bloods and guts from all of the bugs that this car has hit over the past few months. So we're going to see how well it does at breaking down all of this, because as you know, if you're traditionally foaming the car and using your wash mitt, you're probably only going to remove 60 to 70% of those. So if we can break those down prior to introducing a wash mitt, hopefully we'll make the wash process so much easier for ourselves. Now typically if we were cleaning wheels, we would use a dedicated wheel cleaner. When we're dealing with tyres in this condition as well, we probably introduce like a rubber and tyre cleaner as well. Armour Detail Supply have a couple of great products. You've got Wheel Plus and then the tyre cleaner as well. But we're going to substitute both of those products today for Clean. So we're going to try this in the 4:1 dilution here, which is the heavy duty cleaning, perfect for the wheels and tyres. Now Glenn does have that set up in a foam cannon there in that 4:1 dilution, so our effective dilution rate is going to be less than that 4:1 because obviously we are drawing water up at the same time. So we're going to be slightly less than that 4:1, but what we'll do is we're going to just spray this touchless onto the wheel. So we're not going to do any type of pre-rinse, we're just going to spray it on, let it have some dwell time and then rinse it off and just have a look at the performance we get. Not necessarily the way you'd typically use this, but in our testing we want to see if this can be used in a touchless environment.
So I think the first thing to note there at that 4:1 dilution, we've been able to produce really good foam. And why Glenn and I like to foam it onto the vehicle is it just allows the time for the product to basically cling to the wheel, gives it time to break down all that dirt and grime and all the brake dust and things like that that's on the surface, and it just allows us to have a longer working time. And so we'll let that eat away and then we'll rinse it off and we'll show you what it was like just as if we'd sprayed the product on, and just the product alone without any agitation, and see how clean we get these wheels.
Now we've let that dwell on the wheel and the tyre there for about 2 minutes, so we're going to come along, rinse that off and just see how much dirt it's pulled off the wheel and tyre. I mean, pretty tough to tell until you actually go and dry the wheel, but what you can do is you can do the finger swipe test. If you rub a spoke there, Glenn. So we do have quite a bit of dirt there. This is never going to get your wheel all the way clean. Actually far less on that spoke.
I can't get any on there.
No, look at that. It's actually done a reasonable job at removing a lot of it. What we might do...
And we had a bit of mud and stuff on this side as well. So I just want to make this really clear. This is not how you clean wheels. You don't spray the product on, rinse it off, and then hope that your wheels are clean. We just did that to show the cleaning power of the product by itself. What you really want to do here is you want to spray that on, you want to let it dwell, and the way that you clean these wheels is by manual agitation. You use your brushes, you use your mitts, and that's how you clean the wheel. But we've just shown that just to show you the cleaning power of the product. We're going to refoam now, we're going to get out our brushes, and we're going to clean this wheel like you typically would, and we're going to show you that in action.
So nothing beats manual agitation when it comes to wheel cleaning.
And you can see here it's breaking all that dirt and grime down. So this is not a heavy duty wheel cleaner. You would go and grab one of their other products for the heavy duty stuff, but this is good for just maintenance cleaning of wheels. I understand that these wheels are probably a little bit further along than just a maintenance clean. You know, they're a little bit dirtier than just your regular stuff. So I would be grabbing their other tire cleaner, but the other wheel cleaner. But this is just to show you that this product in action. So So that is how you can clean the wheels using the ADS Clean. We're going to move on to removing the bugs and all the splatter on the front of the vehicle now.
So where I see a product like this being quite important is for pre-treatment of bugs. So if you have a look at the front of the car that we're working on here today, we got a lot of bugs on there, a lot of grime, and this is something that's really tough to break down if you're just using a pH neutral soap and you're scrubbing at it with your wash mitt. What we typically find here is if we were doing that, when we get to the drying stage, we've still got the remnants of a lot of bugs on there. So where a product like this can come in really handy, and I'm hoping that it performs well, is to act as a pre-treat. So the way we do this is we'd have the dry vehicle, we would spray it down, so we've got the 4:1 dilution again in here, and we would spray this on, rinse it off, and hopefully remove a good portion of the bugs that we've got on there. I do not expect this to remove 100%, no way near that, but if we could get about 50% of the bugs removed by pre-treating and rinsing away, I would be pretty happy. So let's spray down half of the, let's do half of the vehicle here. And we'll go quite heavy with the pre-treat. And then we'll just allow that to dwell on the surface, start to eat away at some of the bugs there. Really what we're hoping here is that it loosens a lot of them. So then when we come in with a pressure washer to rinse them away, it's a lot easier to remove them. So we'll leave that to dwell probably about a minute on the car. It's not particularly hot. We're not in direct sun today. If you are working in those environments, just be a bit more careful, and I wouldn't work on huge panels at a time. But if you're using a product like this, you're probably only using it for the front portions of the car, maybe some of the side panels in the lower areas.
And you don't want this product to dry. So if it's getting to the point of where it's starting to dry, that's the point at which you want to rinse this off.
Correct. Yeah, do not let this dry on the vehicle.
So we'll just let that eat away. We'll show you what it's like at just eating it by itself. And then how we would typically use this is we would spray it onto the bumper, or we'd spray it onto the lowers, and then we would foam over the top, and that just allows more dwell time. And then we would come along with our wash meter and wipe that away. So we're just showing you the pure cleaning ability of it on this side here.
And as you can see here, it's not drying, but it definitely is disappearing pretty quickly. We're only in about 17 degrees Celsius. So we've been around that minute mark, and it's definitely time for us to look at removing this off the car. Now, the wet car is going to mask it up a little bit, but I can already see that it's done a pretty good job at removing a lot of the bugs that we had on there. We've still got the remnants in some of these areas here, but if you come across and you look at the other side, you can see all of the splatters there. So we'll dry it, accelerate the process a little bit.
So Glenn's just eating a muesli bar, so he's got a mouthful of chocolate. But look, so this is the side that we rinsed, that we pre-treated. We sprayed it on, we let it dwell, we rinse it off, and then I've then dried it, so you can see that we've still got the odd bug here and there. Like there's a bit of splatter there,
a little bit down here as well. But I mean, those look like they've etched a little bit further into the clear coat on here.
But we're way better than where we were. So if we come over to this dirty side here, you can definitely see that there's all the bugs. So Glenn's going to rinse that side down just with pure water, because people will like to see, well, was it the pressure washer that removed it, or was it actually the chemical? So
I feel like I was more than generous there as well in trying to match the rinsing that you did on the side where we actually sprayed or pre-treated with the clean product.
So if you give that a dry, we'll be able to see that there's still, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but there's definitely more bugs on this side than there is on the other side. Okay, so there's the pre-treat side, and here's just the water only side. And I think it's pretty clear to say that the clean product has definitely worked better at breaking down those bugs and then making it easier for us to rinse away. And so I think I'm definitely going to be more inclined to be using this on a vehicle that's got a whole heap of bug splatters, especially on the front and at the lower parts of the vehicle.
Yeah, I think that this to me is a use case that I could definitely find clean slipping into as part of our process. I would potentially just have it ready to go 4-to-1 in a bottle or an IK sprayer and use it in a pre-treat fashion here. And Glenn and I were just talking off camera, probably the way that we would use this is that we would have the completely dry car like we had on this side of the bumper. We would spray it down, let it dwell for that minute as we prepare with our pre-treat soap. So whether that's a decon type soap, a high pH soap, a touchless type product, wash the whole car down or spray the whole car down with that foam, and then we would do our rinse, which would get us a very similar result here, probably even better, because if we're using that pre-treat soap as well, we should start to break down some more of the grime, the dirt, and the bugs on the car. So it's an extra part in the process, but I think as
and then after that, we would then foam again, and that's when we would get into our contact wash.
Correct. So that's all part of the pre-treat, and I mean, looking at that bumper there, I'm pretty impressed. Go and take the camera up close again there, because I think it's right a bit more. For no agitation at all, and I think we were very, very fair with being identical or close to identical with our rinsing of that. It's done a great job. I'm going to hit that side there that you're looking at right now, Glenn, with the camera. And we're just going to pre-treat this, rinse it again. Because I think this has done a fantastic job.
So that's had a couple of minutes of dwelling on there. It's just at the point of where it's starting to dry, and so now we're going to rinse it off.
And I can already tell there it's done a really good job. So just like the other side, you are still going to have some remnants of bugs. So we've got a little bit there. And I mean, that feels quite harsh on my finger, but you're not going to get to 100% rate of bug removal with this. I think the whole idea here is that you can just use it to remove, 50, 60%, 70% maybe if you're lucky. And that means that when you introduce your wash media and you're actually starting to agitate the car, you're most of the way there already. So I think for me that a product like this is something that I do want to have in my process, whether it's clean or not. I mean, it's done a pretty good job today. I think it's time to move into the next part of the testing and show you guys how versatile it is with some of the interior parts of your car. So another way you can use this product is to clean things like rubber floor mats. So again, that's in your 4-to-1, like your heavy dilution ratio. And what we're going to do here is we've got the floor mats, the Halo Blacks out of the Tesla. We're just going to soak them down with this product here, allow it some dwell time. I've actually never done this to these mats before. These have only been cleaned with just an interior cleaner and a towel inside the car. And then what we can do is we'll just introduce this is the Detail Factory brush, and we'll just agitate these mats. Now what I like about this product is it's really versatile. So if you were someone who only wanted to have a couple of detailing products in your cabinet, I think a product like this would be really important to have, because this would replace potentially a wheel cleaner. It could replace an interior cleaner if you wanted to use it at a really high dilution ratio. You can use it like an all-purpose cleaner in the fashion that we're doing right here. So if you're pretty keen on only having 3-4 products, this is going to fill a lot of the categories for you. What I like here as well is it foams really well. So I feel like I'm getting some pretty good cleaning ability working through this. And I mean, this mat was very dirty, particularly in this area here. And as you can see, the foam has turned a bit of a darker color. And then what we can do is just rinse this off, and hopefully we should end up with a nice clean mat. Really, really easy. And when that dries, we should have quite a nice result on there. You could come in at this stage with a rubber floor mat and add some type of dressing to it. I like to leave these undressed. I don't like that slippery nature that you can get when you apply something like a hyper dressing on a product like this, but we'll just let that dry. So there are 3 different ways that you could use a product like Clean by Armour Detail Supply to add into your detailing process. So we've shown you the wheels, we've shown you the bug removal, and we've also shown you how it can be used in an interior fashion, but you could use this product in a dozen more ways. You could use this on interior plastics, you could use this to clean tools as more of a general all-purpose cleaner, you could use it on engine bays, you've seen us doing it on the wheels there, and you can even use it on glass if you have any type of heavy build-up on there as well. So very, very versatile product, as it should be. This is essentially an all-purpose cleaner, so different dilution factors will do different jobs. Now, where I think this fits into the Omni Garage process is I really liked the job that it did removing the bugs on the front of this Tesla. I could see myself mixing this up and have it ready to go in that 4:1 dilution to do that pre-treat for bugs. When it comes to wheels, look, we would probably prefer to use a dedicated wheel cleaner. Same goes for interior, same goes for glass. But I think for us, bug removal is a really handy way to use this product. If you're going for a really simplified detailing setup and you don't want to have a dozen different products, this here could probably replace the need to have 4, maybe 5 other chemicals. That's it from Omni Garage. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions around the Clean product by ADS, feel free to drop them in the comments below. We'll answer them. And if we don't, maybe the guys from ADS will be able to chip in and answer any of the questions that you may have. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video.